Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and today we're going to be going over the all-new 2020 Grand Cherokee Limited X. This is a package that they released last year on the Limiteds essentially, and so basically we're going to go over the package and see if there's anything new for 2020. Under the hood here we have a naturally aspirated 3.6 liter V6. It's all routed through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are going to be 295 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque, and then fuel economy numbers are going to be 18 around town and then 25 on the highway, and that's with all-wheel drive. Now here, so you can see the front of the Limited X, and let's go to the top first and foremost. So the new Limited X has that sport hood, so the same thing on the SRTs. That's why so many people liked this particular model. And then you can see you've got the LED lights with the LED reflector lights, and then we've got the little fog lights just down below, and then you've got kind of like a fake air vent right there, and then the rest of that's all functional. Let a little bit more airflow basically go into the engine of the Grand Cherokee. Now around the side here we have these 265mm tires wrapped around 20-inch rims, and they kind of have this sort of machine type gray finish on it. I really like the look of it, especially with the brilliant black paint that comes with this. And then you can see blacked out Grand Cherokee logo on the side, and then I'll back up so you guys can see kind of the side angle on this Limited X. Now out back here we've got the key fob, so you got a couple functions: your lock and unlock, your tailgate release, and then your remote start. If you press that button twice, that will start it up, and you hear that 3.6 liter V6 come to life. Press it again and that'll shut it off, and then if you press the other button, that is the tailgate release on the Grand Cherokee. That'll all pop up. And now we can see the rear storage back here. So Grand Cherokee has a decent amount of trunk space, and then there's this kind of like random little cubby thing right there, and there is an actual charging station, and then you can pick this up right here. This is where the spare tire is going to be on the Grand Cherokee. And then when you want to lower down the tailgate, press that, and then that will slow lower down the tailgate again. And while that's lowering down, let's talk about the exhaust. So dual outlet exhaust here in the back, and then up above you can see the 4-wheel drive Limited X Jeep. Everything's all blacked out with that badging, and then the wraparound LED taillights. And so far with this review we have found nothing new. Now coming onto the side here, we can open up the door panel in the rear. So black leather with the black stitching. There's some black trim up here and some soft touch at the top. You've got your little door handle right there. And then we can look at these seats right here. So those are just the floor mats. I'll move those over, but you can see the seats. Again, these look identical from last year. You still get the same adjustments on the seats, and they kind of have that weird design on them still. And then you can pull this down. That's the cup holders. Down here you can see that you've got the power outlet with some USBs, and it looks like you can get some optional heated seats on this, and then there's some vents in the rear. And then this is pretty decent on the legroom side of things for the rear passengers. Out front you got keyless entry, so one touch to lock it, and then to unlock it, just put your hand on the back of the door handle and that'll unlock it. And we can see the panel for the front. This again looks identical from last year. So black trim, you've got your leather with the stitching. You've got your memory seats right here. All of your window controls are going to be right there, your little door handle. One of the speakers for the sound system. And then looking at these seats, you still get the lumbar with the power adjustments on them. And the leather on this is actually pretty soft, but again, same little kind of like trim stuff right there. And then you can see the pedal layout just down below with a little hood latch in that area. This is to release the gas cap. These are your lights. I usually just leave them in automatic mode, so one shift over, and then you've got your little fog lights with that. Those are for the screens, and then the steering wheel is going to be manually adjustable. Now stepping into the Jeep, stepping height's pretty easy, and to start it up all you have to do is put your foot on the brake, push the push start, and then the Jeep will start right up, and yeah, everything will come to life. This is where we have our cruise control is on this side. On the other side right over here you can see you've got the buttons. Those are for the center screen, and then you can see I've got all the buttons for the phone controls, Bluetooth, all that. It says Jeep in the center. The steering wheel is fully wrapped in leather as well. You got kind of like this nice silver trim. Paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel, so you can shift the gears yourself. And then there are little rocker panels as well, so you can change the radio stations. Now right here we've got the RPMs over on the left side, and then on the right side there you can see that you've got your little temperature gauge and fuel gauge. And then front and center, that's where the speedo is, and then that's where these little buttons right here come into play. So you can scroll through a couple different menus. It'll give you different bits of information on the vehicle essentially, so pretty configurable in general, and I actually like the look of the display. I feel like it has a nice clean look to it overall. Now here is our 8.4-inch touchscreen. You've got vents on both sides of the touchscreen right there, and you can see that response time on this is actually really solid, so responds pretty quickly to everything. You can see there's some navigation function as well with the touchscreen. So I mean, everything on this in general happens pretty much instantaneous with this 8.4 inch. You can do your texting, calling, Bluetooth, all that. And then you can see that dual zone climate on this, and then also heated seats, heat steering wheel. No cooled seat function though. And then finally, backup camera, you can see, gives you a little trajectory line, so it makes parking a bit easier. Now we've got all of our controls just below the touchscreen, so we've got a couple functions here. We have our controls for the radio. Those are your analog controls essentially, and then your controls for the climate system are right there, and then stability control. That's to turn on your sport mode, your eco off. So right now it's essentially in eco mode. That would be normal mode, and then that would be your sport mode. Auto stop start, and then your parking sensors. Just below there's a little bit of extra storage. You can see there's some USBs and a 12 volt in there, and then we've got some cup holders just in this area. And then finally right here we've got the shifter for the 8-speed automatic, and then you can see there's that dual shift mode right there, which you use the little paddle shifters to shift the gears yourself if you're using that. Now over here we have our drive mode selector, so you can see you've got your 4-wheel low, your hill descent control, and then you've got a couple drive modes right here. So you got your snow, sand, auto, mud, and rock, and you just shift this little dial, so it actually will pop up right here in the little center display. So it kind of shows a little thing of the Jeep basically in the different conditions, which I think is cool that it gives you a little graphic of the Grand Cherokee when you go into the different drive modes. Now this is our center console, so more of the black stitching, and you can pick this up. There's felt on it, very soft to the touch. Next, there's that's where you put your phone basically, and you can see there's more storage in here as well, and there actually is a 12 volt, that's why it labels there, so 12 volt in that little area. And then while we're on storage, just go over the glove box. So nice black trim above it, by the way, but again lined with felt, and you can see inside the glove box there is a decent amount of storage space in that area too. Up here we have our universal garage door openers, sunroof. This one just has a regular sunroof. You can get a full panoramic option if you want. Light controls are up there as well, but other than that, they keep things pretty simple up top. Now wrapping things up on the interior of this Limited X, this particular one stickers for just over $48,000 before any type of market adjustment, which with the V6, I feel like that's pretty decent. If you had a Hemi, that'll just add a little bit of cost, but let's take this Limited X out to see how it drives. Let's start off here in the Grand Cherokee Limited X. So first and foremost, let's talk about visibility. So visibility over the hood, super easy to see, and it's cool that you can kind of see the little vents over the hood. I love that aesthetic. You can see visibility throughout both the mirrors, and I did forget to mention, this does have the blind spot monitoring. It's that little triangle in the mirror will illuminate when someone's in your blind spot. Visibility throughout that other mirror, and then you can see in the rear as well. So that's stuff from a visibility standpoint, but let's set off. Now that we are fully setting off in the Grand Cherokee Limited X here, let's talk about road noise and ride quality. So I feel like even though this chassis is pretty old and they really need to redesign the Grand Cherokee, which I'm pretty sure they're doing it for 2021, guys, so get excited for that. But in terms of ride quality on this chassis, super smooth, and there's not a whole lot of road noise that comes in. It's pretty well insulated in general from the outside, even though this has bigger rims and all of that. Now steering on this is really light and effortless with the steering. It's pretty direct. There's a little bit of play, but not a whole lot. I mean, it's not like it's a truck or anything like that. It's got a little acceleration with this 3.6 liter V6. Yeah, so I mean, acceleration is pretty strong on this. However, that Hemi Limited X that I reviewed last year just had so much more pep, and so if you're okay with visiting the gas stations a little bit more often, and on top of that, if you just want a little bit more power, then the Hemi's definitely going to be the route to go. It's also going to sound significantly better than this little 3.6 liter V6. Now to sum things up, if you're in the market for an SUV, and let's just say you're a Jeep person. Now with the Grand Cherokees, this is kind of like your everyday, you can driving SUV essentially, and this Limited X package, I really like it because just the looks on it, I love the aesthetics. So if you want something that's a little bit different, a little bit sportier looking in general, then definitely check out this Limited X package because it is worth it, especially for that sport hood. There we have it, everyone, the 2020 Grand Cherokee Limited X. Beautiful vehicle. I love it in this black paint. Another really cool look on it is if you do the white with like black rims and all that. That's another really good look on the Limited X. I did forget to mention Larry H. Miller, Dodge, Ram, Jeep, Chrysler, and Sandy. They're the ones who provided us with the vehicle. But if you're stopping in for the first time, please subscribe, comment down below what you thought, and then I will see all of you in that next video.